Hey, welcome to the Closing Beat, everybody. Happy Tuesday. How we doing out there? Right, it's Tuesday, right? It's Tuesday. Hey, somebody owes me something, right? Who took the other side of that bet we had yesterday? Somebody said, do you think we make new highs tomorrow? And I said, nope, not a chance. So somebody owes me. Who took the other side? Where are you at? And Miriam, what's the deal? Like, I wasn't talking about Biden being the reason for the bump. Of course, that was part of the reason early in the morning. But the vaccine, of course, was the big push there. I still maintain, by the way, before we get into it, that where we're at right now is going to, we're going to have some trouble getting through it. I'll cover all that, though. That's what we do here. We talk about the stock markets, all the good, the bad, and the ugly for the day. Hey, we're playing a game. It's called Guess the Dow, by the way, if you want to take a shot. jazzwealth.com/guess the Dow if you feel like playing there. And if you win, we'll give you a $100 gift card. If you're a customer, you can take the gift card or you can have your account credited, and we'll see what happens. Look, the stock markets were basically flat today. Why did we talk about the stock market having issues here with this area? Partly, well, obviously, just a huge move yesterday. That's so extended. But one of the reasons we talk about it having issues here is the data going forward. I may have cheated a little bit and had the data. I'm going to share it with you here. So anytime the S&P gains 2% and happens to hit new highs in the process, if you look back over the next week, it tends to float a little bit lower. And I wouldn't say that this is lower when you look back at the data. It's actually just kind of choppy. So where we look at the stock market right here, at these prior highs, we broke out to highs on really a lot of exciting vaccine news and stuff that we hopefully really pans out. I mean, we hope. We still have the technical resistance area to mess with. So if you're just following the stock market right here, we've been talking a lot about not getting too excited right here, not feeling like you have to chase, assign it to whatever reason you want that we broke out to new highs. We still have a technical area to deal with, and that's really where we're at with the stock market. So if you look at the S&P today, we are following this data here almost to a T, where there needs to be more. We need more information. The stock market's looking for another catalyst, something to be exciting that we can move to new highs. Otherwise, we'll continue to digest the move, and that's really the kind of moment we're in. You have a big move. It's all very exciting. We got to digest it. We got to think about it. We got to look for the next thing to be excited about. That's what investors and traders are thinking. Interestingly, if you look out over the next month, anytime the S&P has a 2% update and hits new highs in the process, it tends to float lower over the next month, and that's probably due to the run-up that it makes going to those new highs and that blast-off sort of, people call it a blow-off top, maybe what we saw yesterday. I don't know for sure. It's too early to tell. But you have that sort of blow-off top, and that tends to get people to want to play both sides. They want to hedge. They want to take some profits. That puts a little bit of selling pressure on everything. And so really an interesting point here in the stock market, no matter where you land or what you think is going to happen, you really need more information. Both of us, bears and the bulls, need more information here. Let me go over to the Dow to start things off here. You got the Dow up 1% on the day, sitting solid now with a 5% gain year to date. Boeing is going to be your biggest contributor today. We happen to own it, so we're excited about that. Up 5%, back above the 200-day moving average for the first time all year. They may be getting those 737s back up in the air. The FAA says maybe by November 18th. That would be good news for them. Get some of those back to work, dust off the old planes, and get them flying again. It's also good, not in the Dow, but it's also good for Spirit AeroSystems. These guys, Boeing is by far their largest customer. They've been just decimated by the Boeing grounding there. And with that news today, Spirit AeroSystems, we happen to own it, so I was looking at it today. Finally starting to recover a little bit, up 12%. Now, if you're looking at the Dow for the day, you got a nice gain. That was the best performing index out of the group, almost best performing index out of the group there. But Salesforce was one of the drags, and that's Bitcoin. How did that happen? Salesforce down 4% on the day. You have this move still going away from the COVID tech big headline type names and moving into banks, industrials, consumer staples, different areas of the market. You definitely have a sector rotation happening right now. We'll cover it as we go here, but you got to be able to spot that sort of thing. And this would be one of the more easier times to spot it. All right, the S&P is up double digits for the year, just about 11% there. The FANG stocks plus Microsoft were your biggest drags on the day, continue to be sold. Facebook down 2% on the day. Amazon got a little bit of a drag, 3.5% or so, chopping around in a big range there, so kind of a mess for the moment. Microsoft also in a big range and continues to see the selling pressure. The excitement in the S&P today was consumer staples and the banks. If we look at something like Berkshire Hathaway, I'll use the B shares there. That was your best performing bank stock of the day. Also the most heavily weighted in there. We could show that for you here in just a second. And staples like Coca-Cola, right? Finally waking up, getting something done there. Coca-Cola is obviously a good mover there. I shared with you the performance after having these really strong days here. And one other thing I want to point out, we do this I'll just do it in a minute. Let's stay focused here, Dustin. Stay focused. So small caps, really the same story here in terms of having tech selling off, financials, industrials being the biggest contributors. They're just going to be smaller names out there. Small cap value, by the way, has almost had its best 2-day stretch all year long. It's up about 10% in the last 2 days. Small cap value. So if you have, not the game, if you have a small cap value fund in your 401k, you look at the performance of that. That's had a good couple days there. That's really going to help the year-to-date returns just over 2 days. And I don't say that often, right? So very interesting there. Also, the same sort of thing happening in the Russell. It was the best performing sector here on the day, and a lot of it having to do with that rotation into financials and industrials. It's time to dust off your old financial watch list, dust off the industrials, get familiar with those names. It is no longer FANG plus Microsoft and NVIDIA that are leading the way there. Hey, we've got some great FinTips videos for you this week. It's a planning week. So yesterday we did using equity for retirement. In other words, money that will be given to you in the future. How can we kind of quantify that now and see if you're on track? We're also going to do a kind of an interesting study. Should you stop investing at, say, 50 years old and use the money to pay off all your debts or income properties in particular? Would that be more beneficial than saving and investing and just carrying the note along the way? So we're going to cover that as well, and we'll see how that plans out. In the Research Center today, if you want to check it out, jazzwealth.com/research if you're interested. It's $13 a month if you're not a customer, but it's free for customers. We did our study. We posted our study on gun stocks there. So if you go into there, can I pull it up? I probably can pull it up here real quick. If you go in there and you take a look, what you're going to see is the correlation between background checks and gun stocks. We did a cool little study there to see, is there a reason to assume a bump in gun stock performance when background checks hit new highs? So if you want the data on that, you can check that out. Also got a post coming up here in just a moment. Actually, I did make it live there. We're talking about stocks yesterday that had their best performance. I'm going to go share a little bit of this here with you here. If you look at the stocks that had their best performance yesterday, it was the ones that were down the most year to date. In the Research Center, we actually went through and looked at their virus declines as well and kind of compared it to the gains only as of yesterday, going over some of the names in there. Really, really impressive, the gains they had. The moral of the story is don't kick yourself if you didn't chase those yesterday. If you own the stock, you still likely have a loss, right? Unless you just bought it over the last couple of days. And so I was trying to kind of get you away from that mindset of, should I buy Carnival? Should I get in there and buy some of these oil stocks? Maybe, but you don't let one day make that decision, right? So cover the research site. Also, Wine and Wealth this week, we're going to cover some of the nest egg updates. If you're not familiar with that, that's the financial planning software that we use to help you, together with us, plan your retirement or any goals that you have. There's a handful of updates there. We're also going to do some tutorials on some different types of modeling that you can do. We're trying to sort of expand and show different things you can do other than just saying retirement. It's just always retirement. So hopefully you enjoy that. All right, let's take a look at the sector breakdown here today. We're going to use our tool that we're working on here, a couple changes, and hopefully you enjoy this here. It's a different way to look at it. This is going to be available soon in our dojo for customers and likely for the research customers as well. If we look over here, the one-day performance, energy ranks as the top performer. Largely, this is going to be due to Chevron. Chevron had a great day today. And if you go click on that and you take a look at the energy sector, look over here. You've got Chevron right there. 4.6% gain on the day. It was one of the biggest contributors today. It was the biggest contributor today by far. If you sort the list by like 5 times, it was the 4 times the biggest there. It is the heaviest weighted stock. Oh man, we can't have that. I just got a little something going on. Oh man. Well, all right. Hear me out with that. Okay. Well, anyways, thank you for that. Just chiming in. Just interrupt the show. All right. Anyways, Chevron, the biggest weighted stock in the mix there. And so that had a really, really great day today overall. Also, ConocoPhillips, I want to point out, 6% gain on the day. That's going to be right over here. Not the heaviest weighted, but enough to be the second biggest gainer. How are we doing? Does this sound good? You good? I mean, I want you to be happy. Does it sound right?
It's catching up. I'm here now.
It's catching up. Okay. There you go. Oh, well, hey, that's what we do. Live show. Okay, so you got Chevron in the mix. ExxonMobil didn't do too well. Let's look at tech, by the way. Tech down here at the bottom continues to be the area that's being sold, that sector rotation that we talked about just a little bit ago. Every bounce today was sold. If you look at an intraday chart of tech, just as it's kind of floating around here, every time it tried to bounce, it sold off today and finished very near the lows of the day. The biggest laggards today have been the biggest contributors. Your Microsoft, NVIDIA, you've got AMD, Apple, Broadcom, Adobe even, and Salesforce, which we already mentioned in there. You can also see by looking down here, if you just kind of hover over some of these, you're going to notice that a lot of these are semiconductors. You got AMD in the mix there, Xilinx a little bit, NVIDIA, right? Some of the weaker ones are going to be semiconductors. So just by hovering over that, I can kind of tell where the weakest area is in the market, weakest industry inside the tech stocks there. So I want to point that out. Okay, also, industrials got the boost today, 1.8%. That's going to be because of Boeing. We could take a look at that if you'd like. Going over to the industrials, biggest contributor today is going to be Boeing. It wasn't the biggest weighted stock, by the way. The weight's at 3.5% there. If you take a look, you've got Boeing, 3.5% weighting versus something like Union Pacific. Right? That one did well today. You look at Honeywell, 5.1% there. They also had good days today. So if you look up here, you got Boeing in the mix, but also you've got these Honeywells, Union Pacifics in there. Even though they're weighted more in the sector, Boeing outweighed all of them today in terms of gains because it was up that much more. So a nice good day for Boeing. And as we get more comfortable here with these charts and everything, I'll be kind of experimenting a little bit with some of the data that we can show. I do want to point out real quick, if we sort by 5-day, over the last 5 days, there's something we can notice just by looking at this here. If I go to 5-day performance, there is a complete dissection between 3 sectors up at the top and the rest of them down here at the bottom. So if I move away for a second, you can see the green line. That's energy, up almost 15% in the last 5 days. Financials, 11% in the last 5 days. And industrials, we're going to give it to it. We're going to say 10% in the last 5 days there. Definite sector rotation. You can see it visibly on the chart. Look, energy went from the worst performer to the best performer, just like that. Just flipped a switch overall there, so you got to catch that. Was dead last and is now the strongest. Interestingly, if you look down here at this green line, that's utilities. Utilities was second to last. It has since been left behind. So there's no rotation going on into utilities right now. You can see it was down here. Everything popped, all exciting, great, but utilities floating down. Still a gain, nice gain, but still down over the last 5 days. So money not flowing there, it's flowing into these 3 sectors right now if you happen to be looking at that. If you're looking at utilities now, and you say, well, that's okay, I like what's going on in utilities, I want to be a part of that, then you're looking for the strongest stocks with the biggest weighting, right? So over here, this would be the biggest weighted, but it's not the strongest because it's not up here, right? So oh no, I'm going to switch it to 5-day. There we go. So we're looking for the strongest stocks with the biggest weighting. So we're going to slide to the right and we're going to take the stocks that are the highest right here. Southern Co, Dominion Energy, Duke Energy. These are the best growers that also have the biggest impact on the sector. Over here, something like Pinnacle, yeah, it's the best performer, but it has very little impact. It could just be news, it could be earnings, it could be anything that's causing that. This is the group you want to look at. It's very interesting what you can tell just by looking at a simple scatter plot. So I thought that was kind of cool. Okay, so that is our new tool there. Just want to show that. We're going to kind of add to it over time and just really digest, add more things that we can digest here and show visually because we like to do that. Let's go over to our watch list here for the day. We've got that on the right-hand side of your screen. What we're looking, are we good? You happy now? It's definitely good now, right?
It's better.
Crystal clear. What's going on, man? Crystal clear. All right. Man, maybe something in my throat. All right, well, here we go. Watch list wise, we're looking for the best performers yesterday with the best technical patterns. So I just shared with you a minute ago that we've got these stocks here that did really, really well, but look, they're beaten down. We don't just want to go buy a beaten down stock. We want some reason to believe that other people will come and be trading this with us, right? So if you buy one of these stocks, you want to know that other people are going to join you, and it's not just one day and then it fades away and you lose your money. So here's what we're going to do. We look for the biggest gainers that is obviously had the worst gains year to date or worst losses year to date, and we're putting this list together just in case there really is this momentum, this shift of money from the tech stocks over to small cap value, over to some of the beaten down names. Think of it as economy recovering type list today. So here we go. We're going to look at Diamondback Energy. Why are we looking at this one here? It's broke the downtrend. So yes, it's highly beaten down, in horrible shape here, but this move over the last couple of days has broken the downtrend. So technical traders have a reason to look at this stock more so than anything else, at least that we've seen so far, right? We're going to look at Carnival Cruise Lines, right? So Carnival Cruise Lines broke the downtrend, right? We've got a kind of a shallow downtrend going on there, and it's clear going up to the next resistance area. So you had that big exciting move yesterday, pulls back a little today. I think you had Norwegian Cruise Lines with their earnings. They missed big time. So anyways, cruise lines pulled back, but you have clarity up to that 25 area, assuming this economy reopening thing continues, and I think we all hope it does. All right, Schlumberger. I tried not to have too many names in the energy space, so bear with me. You've got a break of the downtrend here. It's a stock that's been trying so hard to get going. Give me some good news. It finally got it, and it's looking good there out of the downtrend there, just to talk about another oil stock. Going over to the banking stocks, this is a tough one. Wells Fargo. I know a lot of you are waiting for Wells Fargo to catch up. It's the worst performing large bank out there. It is very just off of the lows there. Is this a bottom? I think it's a little early to tell, but I think this is worth being on a watch list because in the short term, we've broken through a very short-term downtrend. The volume is good. People are trying to go there, but the catch is this just sector rotation money or is this stock-specific money? Remember I said a minute ago, money's moving into financials. Okay, that's exciting. If people are buying financial ETFs, buying the sector as a whole, whatever it is Wells Fargo benefiting from just that? Or are people saying, I'd like to go be a part of just Wells Fargo? Kind of like Berkshire Hathaway. If you look back to that one a minute ago, we can see that people have clearly chosen to go with Berkshire Hathaway. That's not just sector rotation. That's extra dollars going into this stock in particular. So I just thought it was worth putting on a watch list if you want to track it there. United Airlines, right? We got a breakout here. United Airlines says Thanksgiving traffic's going to be really strong. They're putting like 1,200 new flights together for the holidays there. We've broken out over this little flat base there, so that's clear. We also have clear space up to about the $50 mark, so people that want to find an attractive risk to reward, very little risk, a little bit bigger reward. It's obviously a tougher trade to take, but you've got a breakout there, so a little bit better technical pattern. And we'll finish with Simon Property Group just to give you a REIT. Same thing. Basing sideways here, broke out, also above the 200-day, so any scans that people set for stocks above the 200-day, this one's now going to show up again. You've got some, I would say, decent risk to reward up to $95 there, so you've got a target. It's an obvious target. It's an obvious break of a bearish downtrend, breakout trade there, and so you have now a list of stocks that these aren't your home run, go buy them, get all excited type trades, but these are ones just put off to the side and say, I think there's some momentum here. If there is, I want a list of stocks that I can go to. Maybe I can research in the meantime, get comfortable with, and see if you're interested. So I hope that helps. That's our watch list for the day, and we'll move on. We're going to do stocks in the news next. Just a handful of things going on here. And then I'll let the stream catch up, take your questions. So you got American Airlines pulled back about 6% on the day. They are doing a secondary offering. So I think it was $500 million for American Airlines, down 6% on the day. That's the news there. Peloton gets a little bit of a boost today, up 5% on the day. They are collaborating with Beyonce for their, not for the bike. I don't think she's going to pedal on the bike, but she'll be in the thing, the TV that's on the Peloton. So it's going to be more of an experience with Beyonce. Maybe she'll work out. I don't know. But that sort of collaboration obviously carries some weight. And the people are happy with the stock. Nice little bottoming day there. Norwegian Cruise Lines, I mentioned a minute ago, sold off about 6% today. Earnings were bad. They missed on earnings. It was largely expected. Revenues came in a little bit weaker than expected, and so that hurt the cruise lines in general. You've got Beyond Meats. Horrible day for Beyond Meats, man. Missed on earnings by 33 cents. Weaker revenues, weaker sales as expected there, and no confirmation on the McDonald's deal. So are they working with the McDonald's or not? For McDonald's wanted to use them to produce, to be the manufacturer inside of their plant to produce their plant-based products. And so the question comes up today, is is that sort of craze over? Was it a fad? Was it kind of like those mini cupcakes that everybody did for a while? I don't know. We're going to find out. It doesn't look good right now. I'll just give you that. And lastly, we've got Ulta Beauties. I think it used to be called Ulta Salon. No, that's a different company. Ulta Beauty, up 7.4% on the day. They've got a deal with Target. They're going to launch like an in-store Ulta in Target coming up there. And so obviously exciting for them, more distribution, more exposure. And so the stock was higher by 7.4% on the day. That is pretty much your stocks in the news. You got some adjustments happening in the S&P 600 and S&P 400. It's more important to look at the S&P 600 adjustments right now because of the way small cap is performing, so maybe something to consider there. And we have earnings tomorrow. Air Products coming out, Legg Mason, and that's it. Yeah, for the most part, that's it. No dividends or anything to look at, so I will take your questions, see if you have any, and we'll wrap it up from there. I love it. What do you think about buying 100 shares of MJ Holdings for a little bit, waiting for the price to rise and selling for a premium, selling premium while collecting a 6% yield? So if we look at that, let's just see. Can you even do that? Is there any volume there? It's not really a lot of volume there. So if you're saying sell premium in terms of selling calls, careful. Watch the spreads on those. Look through the options chains there and look through the spreads on those. That one might be kind of tough. So I can't say I like that one because of the volume. Yep. Oh, we got a Beyonce fan in the house. All right. That's cool. I think a cool YouTube channel would be someone that takes a camera and just goes and knocks on doors of like big houses or like finds Beyonce and go, what are you doing? Like, what do you do today? Like on a day-to-day basis, where are you going? I think that'd be interesting. Knock on somebody's house that lives on the beach and go, hey, how'd you get this house? What job did you have? What mistakes did you make? I just think it'd be cool. I would watch it. Uh-oh, there's the Fang reference. Fang Diamondback beating Fang. Yeah, there you go. I love it. Yeah, that's the mood that we're kind of going into. I want to make sure I got the right thing. I don't know, it's stuck for some reason. I love it. Oh, they want to know your stock pick, man. You got a stock pick over there?
I have one stock pick, always.
You have a stock pick? Hit me with it.
It's always Penn.
Oh, he likes Penn National. Yeah, fanboy. Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, this is a family. There's no logic behind it.
No logic. It's pure
This is a pure fan.
fan. Okay, so Penn National is Cody's pick. He is not at the moment, not a registered advisor, so he can say that. I can't agree or disagree. But there you go. Craig wanted to know his pick there. Always high. They didn't ask Charlie, by the way. I noticed that. Perfect. Should a long-term investor try to rotate with the market or just buy the discount? Yeah, I mean, buying discounts is really, I mean, that's your game, right? The sector rotation game is really if you want to rebalance, which is sort of a long shot. If you want to sort of adjust in the short term, if you are younger, can be aggressive. I like to point it out because it maybe means adjustments that we can make, or I just like people to have a good feel for the general vibe of the market. So that's why I pointed out short-term traders or short-term investors are really the ones that'll focus on that a little bit more. Yep. Why is the stock market only open for certain hours? Is it a relic of the past, or is there a reason that it still shuts down? There's actually a rule that the market does have to shut down. There's a bunch of rules on that. It does have to stop, so there has to be and the reason for that is because there has to be a marking day. There has to be a way to say your account has this balance and you are either good or not good. You need to make good on some money or sell positions or whatever. So there has to be a line where they draw that for statements and everything. That's always been the case. The stock market also has to be, it can't be closed more than 3 days in a row. So you can always have a Friday holiday, a Saturday, and a Sunday, but then it has to open back up on Monday. 9/11 was the only time was one of the only times that the stock market was closed, and they broke that rule. It was closed for more than 3 days in a row, including the weekend. But otherwise, yeah, that's it. Dr. Horton nailed it there. Yeah. Yep. I love it. They want Charlie's pick. What's your pick, Charlie? You got a stock you like out there?
You know I have fun with crypto, but
Oh, that's right. Charlie's a crypto guy. That's true. Yeah. So he wouldn't be a stock guy. He likes his Litecoin?
yeah.
He's a Litecoin guy. Yeah.
I'm around.
He jumps around a little bit, but he likes the Litecoins. That's fair. I forgot that. Yep. I love it, man. I love it. Cool. Yeah, that's all I've really got. There's no dividends or anything to report there. So I'll wrap it up there. Hopefully you enjoyed today. Do a little something different for you. We'll be back tomorrow. I'll do this all over again. Tomorrow's video for you, our FinTips video, of course. Check that out. Should you stop investing and pay off your income property? What effect does that have? I love doing those types of videos for you because then it becomes less my opinion versus just saying pay off debt. And actually you get to see, does that make more sense or not? So anything I can do that I can quantify, I like that focus. I'll wrap it up there. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll be back tomorrow. You're supposed to hit the subscribe button, right? You could turn the bell off for all I care, but if you hit the subscribe button, are we almost to 100,000 people? That's like a lifelong goal. When I was a kid, before YouTube even exists, I said, you know, there's going to be a YouTube, and I want 100,000 subscribers. I guessed it. I didn't guess it. We're not there yet. We got a ways to go. If you'll hit that, I appreciate it. And have a great rest of your day.